stance that I have taken, the stance that 90% of Americans, and I would imagine 99% of elite level athletes have, that men should not be in women's sports. It's harmful to women to allow such.
I think there's probably one other job that you're about to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
WNBA championship. What will you remember most?
Just the fight and everything that we had to do to get this win. Definitely remember that eye and that tooth. It was all worth it to hold this trophy.
Thank you, Brittney. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ну, начнем с того, что они считают, что мы отступаем. Это тактический прием. Мы обязательно идем вперед. Пускай они так думают, что мы отступаем. И то, что говорят, что русские отступают, мораль низка. Нет, это неправда. Они ошибаются очень сильно, они забыли русский дух, у них этого духа уже нет просто-напросто. А русский дух, он непобедим. Поучите историю внимательно, нашу русскую. И вы поймете, что русский не хотел войны никогда. Русские не нападают, русские заканчивают войну.
People have been speculating, is Brittney Griner actually a female or a male? Now, Brittney Griner actually does play in the WNBA, which is a women's basketball association, right?
Riley Gaines is back, and this time she's not holding back. She's not just talking about trans athletes anymore. Now she's coming straight for the WNBA. According to her, the league forced players to stay quiet about Brittney Griner's real gender. Yeah, Riley's claiming that WNBA officials gave players a straight-up warning. Don't talk about Brittney. Don't ask questions. Pretend like nothing's going on. And ever since Riley started speaking out about it, she's been iced out, like she exposed some top-secret classified info or something. It's giving weird. It's giving cover-up. It's giving, why is everyone so quiet? People are starting to ask, what's really going on with Brittney Griner? And let's not forget, Riley's been on this wave since her showdown with Leah Thomas. But this one's hitting different. The vibe is darker. And if what Riley's saying is even a little bit true, then the WNBA might be in serious trouble. So how did all this chaos even start? It all traces back to Riley herself. She went viral after that wild tie with Leah Thomas at the NCAA swim finals. Ever since then, she's been on a mission. Not just throwing jabs. She's been going full warrior mode. She's out here trying to flip the whole system, saying it's not just about fairness, it's about safety. Like, Riley's not just throwing opinions out there. She's acting like she's trying to blow the lid off some huge scandal. And now, it feels like something's about to snap.
Is just about the least controversial take on the entire planet. It's described as an 80-20 issue. I think it's more drastic than that. I think it's a 90-10 issue, if not even more than that. 90% of Americans, of course, believing that men don't belong in women's sports, but for saying that out loud, publicly and unapologetically, you're really met with some of the most hostile and oftentimes violent encounters that you could possibly imagine.
So here's the deal. Riley isn't just talking about who's faster, stronger, or breaking records. She's saying real women are getting hurt out here. Whether you agree with her or not, that's a heavy claim to drop. And now, she's dragging Brittney Griner right into the middle of it, accusing the WNBA of pulling off a full-on cover-up. According to Riley, the league is making players stay quiet about Brittney's real gender. That's not just controversy, that's conspiracy-level stuff. Which brings us to the big question everyone keeps whispering. Why is the WNBA going so hard to protect Brittney Griner? What are they trying to hide? If even a piece of what Riley's saying is true, then something serious is being swept under the rug. Let's break it down. If Brittney isn't biologically female and the WNBA knew it all along, that would be a straight-up disaster. We're talking legal chaos. Lawsuits flying, government getting involved, athletes demanding answers. It wouldn't just hurt the league, it could destroy it.
You know, not everybody has that smooth coming out, but you know, once you do it, it's like a light came on me, on the inside, around me, everything. I felt like I was Brittney Griner.
Imagine this: congressional hearings, players claiming they were lied to, fans turning their backs. The fallout would be nuclear. But that's just the start. If Brittney's gender ever got officially questioned, the league would be forced to rewrite history. And that's where things get wild. Brittney's got gold medals, championships, all-star titles. She's literally the face of the league. If that legacy gets challenged, people would demand her records be wiped, trophies taken back, and every stat thrown under review. That's not just bad PR, that's career ending. Now picture this, the league trying to erase that iconic moment like it never even happened. Like all those milestones, awards, and history-making wins don't matter anymore. Yeah. Ain't no way that's happening. And here's why. This next part is massive. Brittney Griner isn't just some regular player. She's the player, the one who survived being locked up in a Russian prison, the one the US literally swapped for a global arms dealer. That's not just sports history. That's international news. The internet went crazy with Free BG everywhere. She had fans, celebs, even politicians rallying behind her like it was a full-on movement. And when she finally got home, the WNBA rolled out the red carpet. It was like a royal welcome. They didn't just treat her like an athlete, they treated her like a hero. And right after she got out, Brittney made it clear. This was deeper than just a game. Watch this next clip. She didn't just return, she came back stronger, bolder, and with the whole league in her corner. So when Riley Gaines throws shade, she's not just coming at a player, she's taking direct shots at the WNBA's crown jewel. And here's where it really gets wild. If any part of Riley's claims turn out to be true, then she basically just dropped the nuke in the whole debate over biological fairness in women's sports. Riley's been yelling this same message for years, that trans women shouldn't be allowed to compete in women's sports. And if Brittney Griner ends up being the key piece that proves her point, then Riley just handed her entire movement the win they've been chasing. And that, right there, is why the WNBA's shutting her out at every turn. They're not just protecting a player, they're guarding the foundation of the league. In this next clip, Riley lays it all out, and whether you agree with her or not, you'll see exactly why the league might be losing sleep over this.
Relieved to be back on U.S. soil and back on the basketball court as she resumes her position as center for the Phoenix Mercury, Griner is forever changed by the experience and says she won't put herself in such a vulnerable position again.
Well, I can say for me, I'm never going overseas to play again unless I'm representing my country at the Olympics. You know, if I make that team, that would be the only time I would leave the U.S. soil, and that's just...
So the second Riley aimed that message straight at Griner, the WNBA didn't just brush it off, they completely iced her out. Total silence. No response, no denial, nothing. And that's where it gets weird. Like, if Riley was just spreading rumors, then why hit the emergency shutdown button? Why act like she doesn't exist? And here's where things start to spread beyond just the WNBA. Don't forget who's tied to them real tight, the NBA. That's right, the big brother. The NBA funds the W, co-signs their major moves, and pushes all their biggest campaigns. So now people are wondering, if this really is some kind of cover-up, then maybe the NBA isn't just staying quiet. They might be helping keep it hidden. Because if the WNBA goes down for covering up something this huge, the NBA doesn't just walk away untouched. They've got money, branding, and reputation all tangled up in this. And if it comes out that they knew anything, that's a whole new level of scandal. Now sixth, and don't sleep on this part. This hits right at the heart of the WNBA's entire identity.
The stance that I've taken, the stance that 90% of Americans, and I would imagine 99% of elite level athletes have, that men should not be in women's sports. It's harmful to women to allow such.
The league has spent years branding itself as the most inclusive, most progressive, most community-driven league out there. Pro-LGBTQ+, pro-trans, on the front lines of every big social movement. But if they've been secretly hiding Brittney's true gender status, that doesn't just look shady. It completely wrecks everything they've stood for. All those inclusive slogans and campaigns would look like nothing but smoke and mirrors. Here's a throwback clip of former WNBA president Laurel Richie, literally bragging about how inclusive the league is. If this theory turns out to be true, that inclusive by design motto, yeah, that's gonna age like sour almond milk real quick. That's not just bad press. That's fraud, breach of contract, and a full-blown federal nightmare. We're talking deep investigations, lawsuits flying left and right, endorsements getting ripped off the table. The kind of fallout that could straight up crash the entire league. So if Riley's even halfway right, this isn't just drama. This is sports history getting rewritten right in front of us. But how did this all even start? Believe it or not, the spark came during a regular WNBA game, Phoenix Mercury versus Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark had just taken a hard foul. Nothing crazy, just typical court tension. But Brittney, she was fired up, storming off with major attitude, looking heated. And that's when it happened. As she walked off the court, one of those courtside mics accidentally picked up something. It sounded like she yelled something wild. Now, the audio wasn't crystal clear, but Riley didn't care. She pounced. She blasted the clip all over social media within minutes, captioned it in all caps, bold, outraged, like it was the headline of the year. Riley wrote, "Just a reminder, this is who we traded for the Russian merchant of death." And then she dropped the hammer. Now imagine if Clark had said the reverse. That tweet went crazy. And just like that, the internet said, "Okay, game on." They started digging, and oh, they dug deep. First stop, Russian prison records. And what they found had people gripping their phones like it was a Netflix thriller. This wasn't just a Twitter moment. This became a full-blown internet investigation, with people pulling documents, screenshots, old footage, anything that could hint at some deeper truth. And that courtside mic, it might have just opened the floodgates. When Brittney got detained overseas, most people just assumed she was placed in a women's facility. But then reports started popping up saying that wasn't the case. Multiple sources started claiming Brittney was actually held in a men's prison. And just like that, conspiracy TikTok exploded into chaos. Now, here's a clip of Brittney talking about her time behind bars. Pay close attention to how she describes the prison setup and why it just didn't match up. Listen to the vibe. Of course, it doesn't confirm anything outright, but the way she talks, it had people raising eyebrows real quick. Folks started asking, did the Russians know something that the US has been dodging? And if they did know, why has nobody from the WNBA ever mentioned that detail? That silence? Way too loud. But it didn't stop there. Then came that infamous Instagram story, the one everyone's still talking about. Brittney walking around shirtless like it's just another day. No surgery scars, no chest tape, no compression gear. Just a flat, smooth chest, completely visible. And here's what blew people's minds. The post stayed up for 2 whole years. Not flagged, not blurred, not taken down, nothing. Now look, we all know if anybody else had posted that same kind of content, AI moderation would have flagged it in seconds. But Brittney? Crickets. Total silence. No platform stepped in, no questions asked. Now stack that up with everything else. The rumors about the Russian prison placement, the eerie silence from the league, Riley getting iced out like she's dangerous, and now this viral IG footage. It's starting to look less like random coincidences, and way more like a carefully controlled narrative that somebody's working really hard to protect. The way Riley's been frozen out, it's not giving, oops, misunderstanding. It's giving, you weren't supposed to connect those dots. She's been treated like she just leaked some top-secret federal file. And now, this next part? Oh, it's gonna ruffle major feathers and probably have some front office execs clutching their pearls. While the league was busy ghosting Riley like she stole the championship rings, guess who they did suddenly have time for? Caitlin Clark's fans. Yup, out of nowhere, the WNBA launched a whole internal investigation because people online said her fan base was being too aggressive. Not physical threats, not in-person confrontations, just some spicy tweets. That's it. And suddenly the league's like, we need statements, let's open a probe, we have to protect our players. But meanwhile, Brittney Griner got caught on camera in real time, cussing out an opponent mid-game, and the league didn't even drop a lazy PR apology. Not even a, we're looking into it. Just radio silence. And Riley? She clocked it immediately and called it out for what it was. A full-blown double standard. Because let's be real, if the roles were flipped and Caitlin Clark had said black girl in that same sharp tone, it would have been game over. Canceled before she even hit the locker room. We'd be seeing dropped brand deals, emotional interviews, and probably a sit-down with Gayle King asking her how she plans to grow from this. But with Brittney, suddenly nobody hears it. Suddenly the mic had static. suddenly it's nothing to see here. At this point, the WNBA can act like Riley doesn't exist, but the internet? Oh, it's wide awake. And it's not just Riley's voice out there anymore. People are digging, sharing, and connecting the dots on their own, and what they're finding. It's making a lot of folks real uncomfortable. It's not just Riley talking anymore. It's TikTok sleuths, Reddit detectives, and a whole army of internet watchdogs out here doing full-blown investigations. And trust, they're not showing up empty-handed. They've got screenshots, video clips, old rosters, receipts for days. Meanwhile, the WNBA, they're out here playing mute, pretending like that courtside mic moment never even happened. But the comment sections, they're in total chaos. One viral post reads, "Imagine pretending to be a woman so you could dominate the WNBA and still getting cooked by a white girl. LMAO like, not even trying to be subtle." And on the flip side, people are coming for Riley. One user posted, "Did anyone actually hear her say that? Or is Riley just rage baiting again?" So yeah, at this point, it's giving choose your fighter, because this thing's split down the middle. But yo, the wildest comment that had people losing it? Someone wrote, "It's hilarious to me seeing that big pay some respect to women's sports logo on the court, while a man is literally sprinting across it. Like, not y'all turning the hardwood into a runway for gender wars." And while everybody's throwing hands in the comment sections, Reddit's over there piecing together timelines. Some overseas fans even claim that Brittney was listed as non-disclosed on older international rosters. Others are pulling up old IG lives where Brittney's walking around shirtless. No compression gear, no scars, no edits, just out in the open. And guess what? Still not flagged. Not by social media, not by the WNBA, not by anyone. So naturally, people are calling it out for what it looks like: selective silence. And the longer the league stays quiet, the more the pressure builds. Because at this point, it's not even about who's right or wrong in the Riley versus Brittney debate. It's about why the league won't say a word. And the scariest part for them? If this thing slips out, it's not just the W that crumbles. It could shake the whole alphabet soup. Sponsors, supporters, the image they've built, all of it could come crashing down. So where do you stand on all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We need to hear it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.